Emma stood tall, the buzz of applause washing over her like a warm embrace, but deep inside, she could feel the tremors of uncertainty. Glancing at Brad, his expression twisted with rage and disbelief, it struck her that this was not just a battle of words. This was a decisive moment in her life, one that could redefine her future. As the crowd began to disperse, people approached her with encouraging smiles and nods, but Emma felt an instinctual need to confront Brad, to not let him win again. "You don't get to silence me, Brad," she said, her voice strong yet tinged with disbelief at her own courage. He stepped closer, the menace in his eyes making her pulse quicken. "This is embarrassing for you, Emma. You think they care? They don't. They're just here for the show. They care more than you ever have." She shot back, the words explosive, cracking through her fear like thunder. The collector stepped in, putting a protective hand on her shoulder. "That's enough, Brad. You've lost your chance to make her feel small." Emma took a deep breath, grounding herself in the support that surrounded her. She felt the warmth of the collector's hand, the energy of the crowd still lingering behind her, even as a soft rain began to patter outside, creating a rhythm that echoed her heartbeat. "Let us not let this distract us," the collector said, turning to the onlookers. "Emma has just showcased strength and creativity beyond what we often see." Encouraged, Emma slid her hands over her paintings, a tactile reminder of her journey. "These pieces aren't just art," she explained, her voice steadying. "They are expressions of pain, hope, and growth. I made them to inspire others who feel trapped." Some shared looks, eyes glistening with understanding. This was a connection she hadn't anticipated. As she glanced back at her canvas of the tree, she realized its roots represented her own deep and impenetrable, no matter the storms that raged above. With renewed vigor coursing through her veins, Emma directed her thoughts back to the enthusiastic crowd. "If I can face my fears and share my truth, then so can you. Who among you is brave enough to take that first step?" There was a moment of silence, a charged energy suddenly palpable, before one woman, part of the gathering, stepped forward. "I will. I need to share my story," she said, vulnerability and strength mingling in her voice. Emma's heart swelled. "Yes. Please, come." The crowd's attention shifted, the weight between them transformed into a supportive embrace. More hands began to rise, stories of struggles peppering the air, and for the first time in a long while, Emma felt powerful. But amidst this beautiful chaos, a familiar fear bubbled again. What if Brad tried to control this moment, twisted their words to isolate and belittle her anew? Her gaze drifted to him, still lurking at the edge of the crowd like a dark cloud. The applause returned, echoing like a reassuring heartbeat. But as the crowd cheered on, a sharp voice cut through again. "You think they'll really listen? Just wait until everyone realizes you're just a wannabe artist." Laughter erupted from Brad's friends, and the swell of doubt washed over Emma's soul. She could practically feel that heavy storm brewing, waiting for just the right moment to strike. Yet, something bigger than her fear ignited within. "I am not here to please you. I am no longer afraid." The words came tumbling from her mouth, raw and unfiltered. It wasn't just defiance. It was also a proclamation of her journey. As she watched the crowd pulse with energy, something shifted. Conversations sparked around her, they weren't just about her but about change. An unstoppable wave of shared stories awaited, but just as Emma thought she could push back the shadows, she caught Brad's smirk, taunting and chilling. Would she be able to stand her ground, even if the storm threatened to take root at any moment? And as she faced the voices ready to join her, would the revelation of her past be enough to drown out the echoes of the man behind her? Emma's heart raced as her words hung in the air, charged with the weight of defiance. She could feel the vibrations of the crowd, but Brad's laughter sliced through the camaraderie like a jagged knife. His friends snickered, their eyes glinting with a shared hunger to see her falter, but this was not about them. She could no longer afford to be a side character in her own life. "I came here to tell my truth," Emma declared, louder now, passion igniting her core. "This isn't just about art. It's about claiming my space in this world, despite the noise. With each heartbeat, the room shifted. She noticed the woman who'd spoken up, eyes shimmering with tears yet brimming with strength. Emma recognized the same fire igniting within her. Others were joining in, sharing their stories of resilience and vulnerabilities, a tapestry woven together by the shared thread of overcoming adversity. "Thank you for your courage." Another voice rang out. A man, his hands trembling slightly as he stepped towards her, added, "I have something to say, too. I thought I was alone." Emma's spirit soared. Was she really creating a safe haven for others? For a moment, Brad felt like a shadow in the corner, a distant memory rather than the tormentor he had been moments ago. How incredible is it to find strength in our stories? Emma continued, her conviction shimmering like sunlight after rain. What if we used our hardships as stepping stones? What if we amplified the voices that have been silenced? The crowd murmured in agreement. Gradually, it felt like they were turning toward her, ready to embrace the idea that they too could break free from their chains. The applause grew louder, reverberating so that even Brad looked taken aback, his confident facade beginning to crack. "Emma!" someone shouted from the back. "You're not just a wannabe. You're a warrior." That simple statement sent a flurry of warmth through her. She had fought for every stroke of paint and every brush of that canvas. She was carving a path, not just for herself but for those around her, and the realization felt exhilarating, yet, as the energy surged, unease fluttered back in her chest. The fight with Brad wasn't done. His presence hovered like a storm cloud. Would he lash out? Would he ruin this moment that felt so fragile yet so radiant? The crowd-esque cacophony pulsated. Emma looked up, her chest rising and falling rapidly, heart thrumming as she noticed Brad stepping forward again. He could feel his world unraveling as he glared at her, a look filled with disbelief and rage. "You have no idea what you're doing," he said, voice low, menace thinly veiled. "You think they care? In a month, they'll forget you even existed. What if I don't need them to remember me, Brad?" Emma replied, her voice steady despite the tempest of emotions inside. "What if my story matters to me, and that's enough? What if suddenly, the rain outside surged into a torrential downpour, drumming against the roof like an angry chorus? The noise of nature felt like another force acting in her favor. It was almost like the universe itself had joined the battle. The crowd shifted as though pulled in by the weight of this new storm, a ripple of tension coursing through the air, leaving Emma caught between the encouragement of the group and the threat that loomed behind her. She clenched her fists. Could she stand tall against Brad's cruelty? Was this moment enough to bury the past and stride into the future unafraid? Just as she was about to find her footing, something shocking happened. As Emma contemplated her next move, she spotted a glimmer of something unexpected in the crowd. A familiar face she hadn't seen in years, someone from her past with their own story of struggle. The air crackled. The stakes had just risen beyond her own triumph. Would this unexpected reunion alter everything she believed about strength and connection? Emma took a deep breath, steadying herself to face whatever awaited her. Who else would join this tapestry of stories, and what other truths lay hidden beneath the surface?